it up in front of you.
I believe this was the choice of TQM.
Yes, it is. So they've gone for this pick, just repeating it from the one back against Titan, and then Envy picked the second map, which is Cash, which again is going to be a fairly interesting one since that's a very even map and has a potential to go either way. Whereas this map, I think, honestly, when you just look at the odds of these two playing against each other in the past, probably like looking at the same amount of odds, to be completely honest. It's going to be a very even matchup, very good one. Hopefully we get to see it to its fullest extent. But as we were mentioning before, this is being played very, very late by European time standards. In fact, I think this is probably like the most money anyone has played for this late in the evening, just when you look at like the average time zone for these players. So hopefully it isn't going to be too loopy.
And it's not a map that Envyus play a great deal of, Overpass. So I am a bit curious if TQM, we have to just stomp past them here. Just gonna have to wait and see, I suppose.
Oh, speaking of loopy.
Yep, just kind of ring around the fountain.
The fountain.
I'm going to be electing to swap, so we are going to have Envyus starting on the CT side here. And that's a pretty good way of starting, especially if this is a map that you're not too comfortable on. If it's not like, one of the top maps. Starting the CT side is always a very welcome thing to do. And TQM did struggle on their T side earlier on against Titan. This was the first map between those two teams that went into overtime, and I believe finished 21-19, so it was close right until the bitter end. And TQM, if you remember back, only picked up the 6 rounds on the T side, which I say only, but considering that at one point they were 7 for 2 and ended up getting a ridiculous anti-eco round in their favour, that's how they broke the economy of Titan and then started to punish them. So at one point it's looking like it could go extremely one-sided in favour of Titan on their CT side here. So I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to fix those problems against Envyus.
We'll get started with it right away, guys. Going into the pistol round now. Once again, for any of you that are just joining us again, this is Envyus starting off on the CT side here, taking on TQM, starting off on their T side, and almost immediately 4 players pushing towards Monster, but there's Happy lining up one nice headshot over on towards Kerrigan. The rest are going to push themselves back out and try and get revenge for that, but so far not going so good. Kenny tapping 1 and 2, looking for the third, might just be able to grab it, but Happy's going to steal it away. Doesn't matter. Working together is the team game now. And that last player alive, Cajun B, is really far away, and unfortunately with no one else on Envyus having gone down to this point, it should be a fairly quick first round being built up here by the French.
Hell of a way to start off as well. No casualties there. Very convincing, comfortable round. Coming into this, again, I was kind of curious. We've kind of discussed how late it was, but Envyus, of course, were pretty much just sat watching that last best of 3. They weren't playing any of the games. They were sat waiting for the winner of the previous best of 3. So you wonder how much that's kind of grinded in their minds, if they were thinking about strats coming into this, maybe looking at some potential weaknesses on the side of TQM. And did we just get someone join? What? Or am I seeing things? I thought I saw someone join Spectator.
I don't even want to think about that right now. I just want this game to go forward without any more conflict than the last one. It's not even funny anymore.
I'm not even ruling out the possibility that I'm so delirious that I just saw like random text appear on the screen.
It's just gonna make me angry if it happens again.
Okay, that's what makes me angry. So, TQM, they did go for the Force. They got an XM in play as well, in Dupree. Or was that picked up from Kiyoshima? I didn't quite catch that.
Pretty sure they got that off Kiyo when they killed him. If I remember seeing it at the beginning of the round, I think it was sitting at the top left, which would obviously correspond to Kiyo's position. But Dupree's we'll see when he pulls it out.
Oh, well, he has to have picked it up from Kiyoshima because he simply wouldn't have the funds with Kevlar to pick that, to bought it at the start.
But Kenny's going to be sitting just around the corner. It would actually be wise to pull out this thing now. But as we can see, they're not going to need it anyway. Cajun roundhousing.
TQM, Envyus, that is worst case scenarios for them now. They are going to be severely hampered, and very similar to what we saw in the first best of 3 against Dignitas, who, no offense to Dignitas, I think it's a safe statement to make, aren't quite the same caliber of team as TQM are. But we saw consistently that Envyus went for these 4 spies, that economic gaming chicken, as I called it earlier. And by and large, they did get that upper hand. Most of those went in their favour. Against TQM, I'm not so sure if it's going to pay out. It's going to be fruitful for them. 2 players up long for Envyus. Now we're going to get information, but not much more from this. So TQM looking to congregate on this B site. It's going to be Happy. That's the first contact, though. He's on the other side of Monster. He's going to have a quick peek now with Deagle. Decides to turn his back on it. That could end up being at the cost of his life. He's going to go for the re-pick into freeze there with the Galil. Puts him down with 40. Second frag as well. Very nice entries. And that is going to be the site planted on now. And Envyus will be bowing out of this third round.
Nothing they can do about it. Already players getting in positions to just go for saves and look for those exit frags. So for TQM, now these players moving themselves onto the hunt to take out the final couple. Even if they do manage to save, Kenny's only got the Deagle, so it's a very small investment. Apex is probably the bigger prize here. So he's got the armor, and that can transition itself very well into a gun round. But Kenny, with a very nice shot there, actually is going to be able to take down Cajun, keep himself and his teammate alive for a little bit longer. I don't even think Apex revealed himself. So these guys should probably be good to keep those guns in the mix for the next one. If Apex had a little bit more room to maneuver too, he could even go up and try to find that AK, but I think that's going to be a little bit too greedy. So he's going to try for it anyway, but he's punished very quickly, and that'll be Devi taking him down.
I can understand the idea of Envyus. I'm going to try and rock the boat for TQM as soon as possible, but that simply has just backfired. They do keep the one Deagle in the hands of Kenny S, but that's going to be it, and he's going to put Kevlar behind it to somewhat equalize his economy with the rest of his team. Happy could also go for a potential Deagle or a P250 or something if he so chooses, and he has. So they're going to have three upgraded pistols, 4 upgraded pistols in actual fact in total, with a P2000 NBK. But when you compare that to the MAC-10, the UMP, and the assault rifles, Envyus are going to struggle to really get anything out of this round.
When we take a look now at TQM, their players starting to move back over here. Just a big push through Monster is probably what this looks like it's going to be turning into now. Dupree and Zipix already like 3/4 of the way through it. They push their way out, but there's Kenny with the Deagle again, picking up the first opening shot there. Shuts down Dupree. Now the chaos begins as they try to forge their way into it. Good pickup from Zipix. That nade's done so much damage too. And BK, Keo, and Kenny again, all picking up kills left and right. They just box them in and shut it down. TQM completely obliterated there. An Envyus strike right back to pick up their own second round.
What really surprises me there about TQM's approach is as soon as you hear that Deagle rattling out from Toxic, you're expecting that maybe a couple more pistols are going to be in close proximity. So why not start flashing over? Why not even just pull back straight up and reassess the situation? Forcing through is into the only like win parameters that Envyus could hope for. So you just almost walk into the advantages of Envyus, and they oblige incline. Carrigan is first to turn up on this round, though. Apex is going to get traded out after he makes short work of Devi. So a decent start here for TQM, but I'm still a bit perplexed as to what I witnessed in that last round.
Fortunately, TQM, we've actually seen this happen quite a few times today, which is the matter of the fact that they really weren't paying attention to their flanks. So some players are able to get into these great positions behind them on Monster, and they're just boxed in there. And obviously, again, that 3-kill spree that came in from Envyus, it was like, I think it was like Keo, Kenny picked up at least one of them, and possibly it was either Happy or Apex that found the other one there. That were able to pick up that 3rd kill. So they shut it down. They just completely obliterate TQM. And then the chaos that's caused just by that sequence in itself gives the members that are sitting behind them back over there. And then he tracks the room and seems to shut it down. Keo almost with the ninja play, but unfortunately that smoke fades away. It is going to be a pretty clean entry after the fact there now from the side of Team Envyus, or apologies, from the side of Team Questionmark, as their players work their way in towards that B site. NBK and Happy stuck outside. Health pools are way too low, so they're not really going to be able to do anything about this. TQM have forced their way in, and they should be able to win the round off of this. The remaining members of Envy really only looking for exit frags.
Economy for Team Questionmark right now, not necessarily supporting the idea of all charging down and trying to take these weapons away from Envyus. It's still a bit dodgy for them. So I'm not expecting to see everyone charging together to take these away, but if they could take one of these weapons away, it would definitely hamper Envyus. Looking at their positions though, they should be a-okay here. MBK holding the close angle with the P250. And indeed, Team Questionmark aside. Okay, we'll just sit here, boys. We'll keep these AKs, get a solid buy next round. And then it's a bounce back in round number 6. What's the economy looking like from Envyus? They can drop on the 2 players that did keep their weapons if they so choose. And that looks to be the case here.
They've actually got a lot of utility left over from NBK, I believe, too. All those grenades, I think, are coming in from the previous round. So they save a lot of money from that, and this is still a fairly semi-decent buy. Basically looking at 4 players up at a full buy position, and Apex, unfortunately, just has to sit a little bit lower because of the lack of money. But TQM do have the full buy. In fact, the only thing they are really missing would be an op, if they even chose to work with one. But from their current positioning, it may not necessarily be needed, as it looks like they're going for control of connector, and then might try to work this down into B. But the options are pretty much open at this point. It could go to either side at the end of the day, depending on what they find early on in this round.
Yeah, of course, when you're thinking of a pistol only with Kevlar, you're thinking, oh, well, it's not particularly good. You know, it can easily get picked off. But 5.7 in the right position is just as potent as an AK if you have your aim on point. It's very, very good close range. Just the one-tap potential is real. So I do wonder here if Apex is going to be able to make the most of that weapon. Originally, he was looking through long, maybe for a bit of scouting, a bit of information grabbing. As soon as he didn't get anything, he relocates to the bathroom, which is much more where you'd like to have that 5.7. And he has the backup as well, just behind him. So good positions from the CTs, but now Team Questionmark start to push in. The smoke is there, and that's going to dissipate shortly. And the push will be coming in. Apex goes for the look. He goes walking, he gets punished. MBK's now here. Will frag, looking for the second, picks up, runs the bomb out, and a third as well. MBK exploding in round number 6, and a solo individual performance that could go well getting around. Or have I spoke too soon? He's back onto a 2v2.
Good smoke coverage coming back in there. Allows KGB to get the plant pretty much conflict-free, too, but Happy. He's worked his way all the way up towards semi, so he's got that, but there we go. Now he connects the op shot over here on occasion, but it's going to be Dupree trying to clutch things out. The flash rolling in from Happy. He's going to run away with it and give him some room to breathe, but has he given him too much room is the problem now as he presses his way back out. Happy, nicely done, playing that very cautiously, shuts it out, and should have plenty of time to defuse this bomb and pick up the round for Envyus.
Well played by the end there from Happy, but that really was all MBK. Those 3 kills were essential for Envyus' survival there, and indeed keeps their economy ticking forward in the right direction. They did lose multiple players, it's going to still hurt them. Team Questionmark can still break their economy, but huge individual performance. P90 for Kiyoshima. What's his spawn like? Okay, spawn's not particularly great. I thought maybe he would think about pushing into connector, but instead he's just going to head over to B.
He'll probably try to play with it, I'm assuming, either over here towards construction or then pushing it into monster. Just wants to play it very close to try and stop a big rush, if that's what TQM want to go for. They did resort to that quite a few times when they were playing versus Titan just a couple hours ago. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here. Still playing that very methodical kind of approach there to just wait it out, see what they can find early on in the round, and then after they've maybe found a kill or gotten some intel, then they'll sort of make their final decisions of where exactly they want to play it. But to start off this round, Deve actually gets a lot of progress made back over here towards log A. In fact, I don't think anyone from Envy is expecting him to be this far forward. They're just jumping around looking for a push from short at this point. So he's a great position, and if he's able to follow this up with an entry onto the A bomb site, it looks like they're just going to go directly for this now, judging from the shifts on the members of TQM.
So it's only Kiyoshima that has taken significant damage in this round thus far. Still a lot of time to play with for Team Questionmark to get into the face of Envyus. Flash out onto short, that's going to allow Apex to potentially peek. That's what he does, tries to get some information for himself. There's 2 players there, but also smokes, I believe. He's not going to get too much from that. Now here come the retaliation smokes from Team Questionmark. They're going to start to push it. Dupree with a spray down onto Apex, who is pushing out the site once more. These 2 entries from Carrigan will prove to be vital to Team Questionmark. And just like that, Envyus is only a P90 and Kiyoshima surely can't retake this site.
No progress at all being gained by Envyus with their use of utility. The last HE grenade, the last nade for Envyus just actually got tossed up there. It didn't connect, I don't think, a single point of damage on anybody from TQM. And they have no way to find a path like safely up onto this site as well. They're both all stuck down below on the staircase there. Ziptic's finding 1 pickup. That's a nice timing by Kerrigan actually to pick up another kill. And now the last one alive is Happy, and he's completely surrounded. He has no clue where even to look there, so that's not surprising at all that he gets overwhelmed and shut down. That's good chasing from TQM too, as they're not afraid to get aggressive about that, despite having a lot lower of an amount of money when you just take a look at the reserves they have here going up after the buy. So they're able to shut him down. They don't actually pick up the op again. They're just going to let it die. But still getting that out of the hands of Envyus is very crucial because now there's basically no pressure against them here in this round.
Yeah, I feel like it's twofold the reason they didn't pick that up. But one is a lot of their strats thus far have been very execute heavy through smokes, where the AWP not necessarily the best weapon. And plus they know that Envyus on poor economy, so if an AWP gets charged down, for example, out in the open, is vulnerable to pistols, you can potentially give an AWP across to the enemy, and that's one way that Envyus can bounce back and actually eco you out. So I can understand that decision from Team Questionmark. And again, they're just going to clump together on long. 3 players strong. Bomb is there as well. As you can see, some Kevlar has been picked up across the board from Envyus. Apex again gets caught out. Ooh, Dupree actually ducks the fire of Never. That could have been brutal for their team to get that team kill off. And MBK is going to follow suit from his fallen comrade on the site of Apex. And almost a carbon copy of last round. 2 entries, bomb plant, job done.
Yep, Envyus already falling back, looking for the save, or just trying to cut off some of the guys that are playing a little bit closer to the connector area. Keo is going to work his way back up on top. Happy's here in her party as well, so they actually may be able to find a couple of kills and a couple free guns. You can judge from Happy's current position. It's actually pretty brutal here. He's going to walk right into the middle of the courtyard and get absolutely destroyed. But there's like a flank for the flank being mounted right now from Cajun B. Don't think it's actually going to end up catching anything, though, depending on how he plays things right here. Yeah, no, there's a nasty surprise waiting for him. Happy goes up the ladder there. Cajun B catches him, and they just lost that AK they just worked so hard to get.
Yeah, the Jack in the Box that gets punched in the face, really. And now it's on Kenny with his 5-7. We saw a crazy play from him earlier today, but he's not going to be able to hold on to it. He's not going to be able to pick up the weapon that was behind him either. And because they went for that Kevlar, they find themselves in another sticky situation here, which forces for another eco. They do have round loss bonus coming up, so they should be able to buy next round, but that does mean that Team Questionmark will be favourites to take the 6-3 lead, which is already a pretty solid T-half. And if they do take 6 rounds, that's going to equalise what they picked up earlier on against Titan.
So we'll take a look now at Envyus. They've just gone for the full-on, like, just going to go for an all-in risk on hoping it's all going to collapse onto that B bomb site. It actually looks like this may pay off, because you can see from TQM, they're moving directly over here to take control of this site. But the problem is that if TQM realize this, and they do run into some trouble on the way, and they could just fall right back and go for an A-site take. But Envyus would realize that. However, it looks like, for the most part, this is a pretty clean one from TQM. They're caught off guard a little bit by the extra players, but actually, hold on a minute now. It's brought down to just NBK. Unfortunately, he's trapped now. Trying to line up some more of these kills, but it's not going to happen. TQM do take control of the round, but actually at quite a heavy cost to their players, considering what Envyus invested into the round.
Yeah, it was a pretty great attempt from Envyus, but the issue for them, obviously, is that Team Questionmark have won so many rounds in a row now, 3 in a row, and then before that, they've got bomb explosions as well, that they could easily replenish those weapons. They still have 7.4k on Cajun B, they still have like 4.8k on Devi before this round's even ended, so they can buy next round whatever happens. So it's not going to get any easier for Envyus in the foreseeable future. They have to win this rifle round and start the worst possible way. It's Happy, gets picked off. They do have a player in the water that's going to be key, but they saw that grenade actually go over from the trajectory they knew he was in the water. So double kill for Deva. And well, Apex and Kenny S in the blink of an eye have to try and potentially retake, and with their economy in such bad shape, maybe a couple of exit frags and just back on off. Team Questionmark seem to have come into this game a whole lot more hungry than we saw the first map of the previous best of 3.
And the other thing here, too, is, as you were saying, a lot of these takes are happening, like, so quickly that Envyus are left with no choice but to save in, like, so many of these situations. This is easily, like, I'm saying like a lot. This is about, I would say, the 3rd or 4th time now where we've actually had to see 2+ players just fall back and save because they have no other choice. So it's good that TQM, after a little bit of a rough start here, were able to stabilize things quite nicely. And have now been able to get their feet on the ground here and cause so much sort of dismay on the Envyus side of things too. No saves at all are actually going to be had this time. Everybody from Envyus gets shut down, and they're probably not even going to be a buy, judging from the current amount of money. They're going to force up a little bit with some upgraded pistols and armor for those that can afford it, but most of these guys are sitting on PT-50s alone, which probably won't be able to do that much work.
Yeah, it's good to watch how XTSM Team Questionmark are really approaching this map, because we've seen some slow, steady approaches onto A through long and also bathroom, and then we've seen the blitzed rushes as well, so it's kind of demoralizing for Envyus. It's hard to really call and predict what's going to come up next. This round, it's just pistols. Apex is there on point. P250 landing the first headshot. Is his teammate going to do anything? No, Kenny S. Without his opportunity, that could have been the moment where they take it into a 4-on-2 with a potential couple weapons as well. Team Questionmark just about holding on. Kiyashima is playing a dangerous game of peekaboo with Dupree. Nearly gets his head taken clean off through the little gap in the door there. Has been shot out. Oh, he gets killed on the second time of asking. Kiyashima, the cheekiness did not turn out to be in his favour. Ripping pepperonis. Good sir.
So that's going to stink. As now Envyus again, they've basically been locked out of doing anything else. TQM are not necessarily secure with their position, though, as we can see just how slowly they're still playing this. They're trying to check all the little nooks and crannies on the map. And actually, they're trying to see if they can see Happy right now. I don't know if they can actually spot him from that angle. It doesn't look like it, unless they like purposefully just left him there in hopes of controlling him later in the round. Happy's going to be surrounded in just a moment here. All of this is a bit of a mute point, as we said before, because there's Apex going down now, and now you just have Happy left alive. I'm pretty sure they already have a good idea. Yeah, they're just firing at him now. No, they know he's here. And with just a P250, it's going to be an easy shutdown for TQM. They've really taken control of things now. And unfortunately for Envyus, they are starting to fall off by quite a large degree. There's not enough plays here to hold TQM back, and they're just being allowed to force their will upon Envyus with basically no limitations.
They have tried something different, though. They realize that the standard play hasn't been working, so they opt for a second AWP. That's going to be in the hands of Happy now. Kenny's on long, and Happy taking his AWP over onto the B site. They're trying something different. Whether it's going to prove to be a worthwhile endeavor is yet to be seen. And this could very well work in their favor. I guess maybe they're a bit apprehensive to pick this up, though, with a lot of the fast pushes, and Happy without any Kevlar. If he gets caught and misses the shot, that's pretty much game, set, and match for this round done in favor of Team Questionmark. So there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now. But, of course, we have the benefit of being able to see the minimap, and that dictates that no one from the T's is over there. So it's going to be a bathroom-centric push right now from the Danes. This is going to go right into the crosshairs of Kenny, though. If he just holds his position... Oh, he moves away! That is so unfortunate. There's no way that Kenny knew at that split second someone was going to peek him. You hate to see that happen.
You look at it from the third person, too. As you were already saying, he had that perfectly lined up to pick up multiple kills. That would have been absolutely monstrous, but he pulls away from it just a little bit too early. And now we can see Zipix, he finds the first opener here. Kenny's looking for something, but that smoke's not giving him a whole lot. Doesn't even notice that Dupree flanks him on the right side. The scope's getting in the way of that. Again, the take from TQM, too successful. The final team from Envy, not a hope of even retaking that site. They're pulling away. They're going for the save again.
It just goes to show, man, how Counter-Strike really is just a matter of timing at points. If Kenny S stays in that position, again, it's not his fault, but if he stays in that position and lands the first shot, the whole dynamic of that round could turn on its head. So unfortunate. And now Kiyoshima and Happy are going to get hunted down. Happy's got a good angle with this AWP, but the problem is that he has to quickly turn tail and run, and he gets caught while he turns back. And so they were going to save no weapons, and now it's a forced buy, and they pretty much have to do this. They've got to try and salvage something from this half, but it's going to be FAMASes. It may even be full FAMASes, actually, to have full grenades as well. Yep, full FAMASes, nades. They've got no defuse kit.
Envyus really have to start, in my eyes, just trying to shut down some of this aggressiveness from TQM earlier on in the round. Because as I was saying before, like TQM, Envyus like try these little bits of spouts to try and shut down players, but more times than not, they end up failing, unfortunately. They're not aggressive enough to a certain degree. I like what we're seeing now from Apex. If it goes successfully, which it doesn't, he brings Zipix down to 1 HP. The good thing from this, though, is they do spot where a lot of the play is going to be happening now, so they're not really going to be caught off guard. We're probably, I mean, like, if Envyus loses round, which is looking like right now, it's going to be lost because they tried to defend the site and everyone died. It's not going to be lost because TQM just have this site pick that goes so successfully that the 2 or 3 players that lie from Envyus have no choice but to run away and save, and then we play chicken for the last, like, minute of the round. Regardless, though, the problem still stands that TQM are being so successful with their entries. They've only lost Kerrigan on the way in. Zipix still at 1 HP. Somehow he survived this encounter. Dupree's at 24 as well. He's managed to keep himself alive. And we actually still have one player that's going to be trying to save, but that's not going to happen as KJB Crab walks his way over there towards Monster and grabs the easy shot to eliminate him.
That's been pretty much the summary of this game so far, though, that TQM have just got the entries on the sites. Like, it's not necessarily been the most elaborate strats. We haven't really seen any... I don't think we've seen any fakes, any huge rotations through connector, which is normally a linchpin of this map. It's like the fulcrum point. It's just been push a site, get an entry or two, plant the bomb, you win the round. It's been that simple. It's been beautiful to watch, crisp execution. But Envyus have just been played off the map so far. They've been getting dominated, and I said before, they're not a team that plays overpass too much. And I was worrying if that would kind of backfire on them, because Team Questionmark are a pretty proficient team on this map. So going through onto the other half, it doesn't look good, does it? Envyus trying to at least get 5 rounds on this half, but Deva's there and shuts down every play.
Kyo actually just almost pulls off a monster play there. He's killed almost 3 players exactly on his own here. The problem is going to be getting those 2 players inside a connector onto the B site. As he's done the damage, now it's just about finishing the rest of these guys off. Happy's almost taken down Devi, but he's actually going to win the 1v1 at the end of the day there. as unfortunately he's not expecting him to still be hanging out water. In comes Apex, though, finishing off one of the few remaining players here. You've got one more sitting over here by construction. Zipix trying to finish off some of these guys. He wraps around there, shuts down Apex. Kenny S is still sitting inside of the cub. He's got nowhere to run to now. He's got to try to find a way to finish off Zipix and then get onto the site. But no, Zipix is going to line up the headshot, and both of the remaining members of TQM keep themselves alive somehow, some way. They keep them up, and they win that round.
HP 3. Gotta hurt. It's got to hurt. That being said, though, next map is Cash. And for me, Envyus will be feeling pretty good about that. So, let's not necessarily count our chickens before they hatch from TQM's perspective, but it's looking ever so slightly in their favour, would be the understatement of the year, this map so far. So, just the one player on long is going to be Apex. The rest of his team are on B, I should say. And he has got one frag for his troubles, but that's all. When it comes to the trades, that's always going to favour the terrorists, especially in this kind of encounter. That forces two players to rotate themselves onto the A plant, leaving B a little bit vulnerable.
Well, this was the problem in the last round, too. As the B was left a little bit vulnerable because of the two players that had placed themselves in connector. They had so much trouble rotating back around towards Monster and finding a re-entry point. The TQM had already gotten full control. And the only actual defender on that site, which, if memory serves me correctly, was Happy, did a fantastic job. If he had one more player there to support him, that round would have gone the complete opposite direction. It probably would have been a shutdown from Envyus. So this is the next problem for Envyus here too, is working on sort of the positioning of their defenders. And they're often found out in the wrong places, and they have to go for these very awkward rotations, which more times than not just give TQM all the time needed to rotate and or get into their post plants.
So a big round coming up here for Envyus. I'm going to win this in the pistol. Maybe there's a lifeline still, but I've just lost another player. Kenny S stands tall on long. And BK does what he can to stave off the original onslaught onto B, but he finally falls down. 25 seconds, more than enough time to plant this bomb for Carrigan. Has gone down. Player on graffiti. He's going to be happy when he's waiting for the cavalry to arrive. But they did spot him there. Kenny comes from the FNAF, looking for the second one, gets the spray, and does secure the fourth round for Envyus. A decent retake in the end. There is 4 rounds enough on CT side. More often than not, the answer is a resounding no, but maybe Envyus can make it work.
Still a very, very long way to go on that T side, though, to pick things back up. TQM, you can just see, again, they were dominating it for most of that half. Had so much money in the bank at the end of it. No problems whatsoever. Whereas Envyus, more times than not, we're just struggling to pick up the basics there. So hopefully things will turn back around. But it has to start right here, right now with the pistol round. Otherwise, we could still be looking at way too large of a lead for TQM that Envyus just may not even be able to come back from. Envy, though, pressing all 5 players now, going into connector. Are going to fire some shots through the door there, but not going to commit to it. Everybody's working their way back over here towards short A. Not sure if they realize this yet, but Dupree's behind them too. He should be able to know that all of this is coming. And I think he does. He's spotted these players, so they've already rotated back up towards that A bomb site. This is going to get a little bit rough, to say the least, for Envyus.
His teammates do need to hold on to this site, though, otherwise his flank is all for naught, and they're losing players all over the place. This is the worst case scenario for a flanker. If your entire team dies on the site, your flank is rendered null and void. And that's what Dupree has just found out. He's going to go onto the blood-stained site, the remnants of his team. And really, that is rough. I do question a tiny bit as to what Team Questionmark were thinking. They're actually peeking through long, like MBK just rushed on through. He's picked up 3 frags in this round. Nice one tap from Dupree. Doesn't have a defuse kit, though, and no real hopes of defusing this bomb. So this is going to go the way of Envyus, and that's exactly what they were looking for.
Oh
my god, Dupree, you're just disgusting.
Doing some work here at the end of the round, though. It's not going to matter. They're still going to lose it, but some more frags picked up. It's a couple more armor kits that need to be rebought. Not the worst situation in the world, especially when they still have a decent lead.
That's the frustration right there. That's what Dupree's capable of. Imagine if his team hold on to the site and allow him to get around the back of Envyus. It would have been a bloodbath.
So for Envyus now, actually going to take an SMG route in terms of the rebuys. Apex, Kenny, and Keo all going to invest to try and get some extra cash here. Happy and NBK, they're the ones that go for the AKs. TQM actually going fairly light on most of their players here in the next round. As we can see, it's decoy wipes on 3 out of 5 of them. A CZ and a PT50 on Zipix and KGB respectively. But the only player that buys up armor is going to be Dupree. The rest just stick back. And they're going to take the lighter path in hopes of saving up for that 4th round, which makes perfect sense. Again, they have the lead. There's no reason why they wouldn't do that. Getting a better economical foundation on the CT side is only going to lead to a better half in my eyes.
Well, Team Questionmark here, struggling on the early stages. Dupree does find his demise to the hands of MBK. That nade could do quite a bit of damage. Does land over. Actually, that landed next to Devils. It knocked the pistols away, but didn't hit him. What a one-tap that is, though. Standing his ground. And again, we're going to see the flank. This time it's from Zipex all the way through Fountain. There's a player to his right-hand side. I'm not sure if he's going to know this one. In Connector, he does spot him, but the aim punch is too much to contend with. Happy gets away with that one. Throw the nade over. Passive positions from TQM. And it seems that Cajun B realizes that this B rotation is en route, so he's going to try and meet it. And he gets the frag onto Happy. And it means he will be able to push onto the site as well. So this round is still alive for TQM.
KGB so low right now, so he has to be careful. Envy, they gave the teammates so much time to, or they gave their opponents, I should say, so much time to rotate down. But there's a reason for this. And it's to bait out that extra player now. Heavy, still working with the Deagle though. Finding one connection shot brings NBK down to about 45 HP. And now Kerrigan, is he going to be the closer? There's 1 and 2. Now just looking for that third one. And Debbie might just be able to steal it away. Kenny, though, closing out one of them, looking for that second one. But no, it's Kerrigan picking up 3 kills at the end, finishing them all off and clutching it out for TQM.
Monster. Absolute monster. And just when Envyus were looking to mount a comeback, shut down with authority, Kerrigan, 3 Deagle frags. Just what it was required. Picks up the AK, gets the defuse. What a huge effort that was from him. And I can see how that affects Envyus' economy. And they're going to go right back in to try and break that economy from TQM. It's not going to be a fantastic buy, though. Galil, AK, 2 Deagles. Enough grenades to play with, though. But TQM, man. Kerrigan take a bow.
And for Envious, of course, we see the forced investment from these guys as they need to try and find a way to stay in this game. But DeVay putting it into a very tough spot right at the beginning of it as he finds a headshot into NBK. Zipix in the aggressive 2, almost winning these 1v1s, I should mention. Envious getting very close to taking them. You can just see the results of it. Zipix is down at 10 HP, DeVay down at 9 HP. So they're not necessarily like super successful, but it's enough to slow down the pace of Envious dramatically. And now they have to tread extremely carefully because there's still 5 alive from TQM, and they have absolutely 0 clue as to where they could be positioned.
They do need to be careful. No point giving any needless stats away. Just hold on to the sites. Wait for the disadvantaged terrorists to push you, and then pick them off one by one. Cajun B's going to have a quick peek. Lands the headshot onto Apex. Nice work from him. And Envious, they are definitely starting to circle a drain right now. We're not going to get any great buys from this point on towards the end of this map. Might get one maybe in the 21st round. But at that point, you're expecting Team Questionmark to be on 14 or 15 rounds. So maybe too little too late. Dupree delivers the fatal blow to Kenny S. And Kiyoshima will follow suit. Team Questionmark get the flawless round.
Team Questionmark looking more and more like they just have this map under their full control. Envious, they're going to be completely broken. It'll be a Tech 9 armored force, but I actually don't know. I might see a moderate amount of success from this round. Like, we saw this sort of from Titan 2, where they just started to be toyed with by the CTs on the map, which at that time, of course, was TQM, ironically enough. And in order to try and break it a little bit, they just went for a Tech 9 force. They just, like, went super fast in one of the sites, and it worked out brilliantly. So we're going to see in a second if that situation is going to follow suit here from Envious. But as soon as they find their way out of connector, things are going to slow up by quite a bit. As TQM, they've already rotated quite a few of the players up here towards the A site. They've got 3 holding it right now. They've done some okay damage to the members of Envious. Keo, he's already fallen, and they're going to see this coming from a mile away, unfortunately. Deve finding another one there, shutting out NBK. Kenny forging away from this one. Almost leaves Apex out to dry there, but coming back, he's able to take down Deve on the repeak. And they've got a little bit of momentum to find their way in the site, but it's going to be extremely short-lived as the Pre-Zipix immediately traded out with one more added into the mix. And it'll just be Happy left alive, sitting inside of the bathrooms. Not a whole lot he can do, as he's also lost control of the bomb.
Yeah, I feel that round is almost the equivalent of, you know, Envyus just going all in. Pretty much just slamming their chips on the table. I'm all in. And unfortunately, TQM, they called the bluff. And Envyus, again, in a similar position. Do they go for another force? Yes, they do. Absolutely. I don't even know why I asked that question. We all knew it was coming. I originally thought they may save that last round to get AKs in this one. I thought they'd bank on the 21st round to then mount their comeback. But,
I think this map has sort of grown out of control for them, so I think that last one was just like, all right, if we can't break their crackers here in terms of like trying to get something. This is a really bad metaphor. It's getting really bad now. If they couldn't like get something into the... If they couldn't, like, make something work, essentially, just by doing that forced play, then they might as well just give up and focus on map number 2, which is what I think they're looking to now.
Yeah. This is where, like, the time of night and stuff, and if Envyus are already feeling, like, a bit tilty, starting this late, I think maybe giving up the chase on this map may be a smart endeavor, because Cash really is, like, one of their playgrounds, where you're expecting them to do great things. Nice shot from MBK. Maybe just going to start to get some form back in here. Kenny S has a couple of chances. A bit of frustration, maybe?
Die, 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 die. It's not working.
That's sometimes how I feel when I'm using a Deagle, in fairness. 2 players very low on Envyus, though. One of which was Cajun B. The bomb has been dropped on short as well from Cajun B. Himself. Onto Apex, I should say, was a low player. And that takes us into a 2v2. This is still winnable from Envyus, but...
They've got
a rough position to be in.
Yeah, they've got to get back and control this bomb again too, because Cajun B has it right now, and he is starting to investigate, looking around, looking for these final players. But that may not even be necessary, as Kerrigan's already shut down one of them. It's just Kenny. He's got 13 HP to work with. Doesn't even fully realize as yet where Cajun B has located himself. With only 20 seconds left on the clock, there's just not a lot he's going to be able to do. In fact, I don't even think it's physically possible for him to run back, grab the bomb, and plant it now. So this is going to be another one for TQM, unfortunately.
Yep, it certainly will. Question is, can Kenny S die before time? Actually, hold on. No. Okay, I was wondering if Cajun B decided to double back through short and maybe give his life away, but not the case. I just got tweeted that Devay is Device. We know that, guys, but he changed his name.
What's up?
People are like, it's not Devi or Devay, it's Device. Yeah, it used to be, but he changed his name.
Yeah.
Relax, guys. We'll be okay.
A lot of people
I'll give you a hug.
Didn't get that memo. Sorry.
Yep. He even tweeted it.
Change his Twitter name, man. That's how you know it's official.
Yep. Let's all calm down, have a hug, enjoy the CS.
So pushing back out there, it's actually a pretty big mistake by Zippix. He gets some okay damage, I suppose, onto the members of Envyus, but overpeaks that to a very large margin. So he is going to be shut down. And now Kerrigan, finishing off the targets of his teammate that he almost managed to take down earlier, shutting out 2 of them. Very nice spray control from him. NBK manages to survive it for the time being, but in a moment here, Kerrigan may push out against him anyway. We can see a victory being gained there. Great flash, shuts him out. Now just 2 left alive from Envyus. This is looking like the end of the map, more than likely. TQM taking very swift amounts of control of this first map over here on Overpass.
This is just what TQM, I'm sure, we're looking for after that brutal previous best of 3. To get it wrapped up fast. Bomb planted. Happy he's going to get caught with his pants down on the site. I think Agent B did catch a glimpse of the player in Graffiti, but it doesn't matter anyway. Dupree is there, and that's going to be it for map number 1. Team Questionmark TQM take it in style, 16-5. We'll be moving across to the home map, or at least one of the home maps of Envyus on Cash, which I